Nagunduninyudu, Yaglidu. Welcome to Kenai Peninsula College, which is on the traditional homelands of the Dena'ina, Dena'ina, and the Sugpiaq peoples here in between Kenai and Homer, Alaska. We have been here for thousands of years taking care of this land, and we appreciate the opportunity to work with Kenai Peninsula College on our language, culture, and educating our peoples who are here today. Chikanik, Shnan.
Yahalien Lendo. This is a greeting in the Dena'ina language. As we start tonight's ceremony, we acknowledge the Dena'ina people and the land we occupy as their ancestral lands, and recognize the local Kenaitze Indian tribe. I'm Gary Turner, the director of Kenai Peninsula College. This is my last KPC commencement as I'm retiring July 1st. I've been part of 35 KPC commencements over the last 19 years. Welcome to this year's joint Kenai River Campus and Kachemak Bay Campus commencement. Due to COVID-19, all University of Alaska commencements are virtual. I know how difficult that is for our graduates, their families and friends, and all the KPC faculty and staff. This is KPC's 51st commencement in our 51 years. I want to thank a special committee that came up with this unique way to celebrate our commencement, A New Beginning. This year, college-wide, KPC will award 30 Associates of Arts degrees, 41 Associate of Applied Science degrees, 11 one-year certificates, 32 GEDs, 16 American Welding Society certifications, and 12 other University of Alaska degrees. I understand how hard your journey has been, especially the last 3 semesters. You've proven your resilience and ability to overcome unbelievable odds despite the pandemic. My message to you is that you should take a look in your rearview mirror tonight and then charge ahead to your future tomorrow. Here's what I ask you to do. Remember how you got to this point. Remember how hard you worked and the doubts and fears that sometimes seemed insurmountable. This is especially true since COVID-19 changed our lives so dramatically. Most importantly, think about and thank everyone you can who has had a hand in your success. In closing, Michelangelo said almost 500 years ago, "The great danger for most of us lies in not setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving our mark." And my own quote is, "Keep pursuing your dreams. You should never run out of them. Consider them your own personal fountain of youth." Congratulations to our graduates, and a special thank you to everyone who has made their success possible. Be safe and healthy. Thank you.
GED. Casey Campbell. Trifina Kuzman. Kristen McKillop. Rachel Nielsen. Jonah Anthony Robinson Parker. Elizabetha Rutov. Candace L. Walker. Layla Warren.
Congratulations, Kenai Peninsula College graduates. Today, you, the members of the class of 2021, join the ranks of more than 100,000 University of Alaska System alumni. The journey you began when you started at Kenai Peninsula College will continue long after this graduation ceremony. This journey is one that the university has prepared you to take, one that will contribute to our state's economy and the communities each of you choose to call home. Your journey will require you to overcome more adversities and challenges. You are no stranger to challenges. This past year has been a significant one for all of us. Graduation is a milestone we're celebrating in any year, and even more important to celebrate given the challenges and unique experiences we've shared this past year. I commend you for completing your degree at a time when the world and the university underwent unprecedented change. You have proven that you are determined, resilient, and adaptable, and this will serve you well in the years to come. The late poet Maya Angelou said, "You may encounter defeat, but you must not be defeated." Defeat, she says, allows you to know who you are, what you can rise from, and how you can still succeed. Have confidence. Use your strengths. Do not be deterred. Kenai Peninsula College and the rest of the university system is the key to the state's economic recovery and its long-term future. You will become part of our state's economic foundation. As a graduate, you are positioned well to succeed. For those of you starting your career, I know you will help build a stronger Alaska. For those of you whose next step will be to continue toward another degree, I know you've built a great foundation in your time here at Kenai Peninsula College. Whatever path you choose, walk it with great personal strength. Whatever you choose to do it well and with passion. My parting advice to you today is to remain curious, continue to expand your knowledge, and find ways throughout your career to give back to your community. I hope you'll continue to make Alaska your home. Every chance you get, I hope you encourage others to follow your path in becoming a Kenai Peninsula graduate. And Alaska needs leaders. Our future is in your hands. I'll leave you today with the words of Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done. Well, you've all done it. Congratulations again. And wherever your next steps, remember your experiences here at Kenai Peninsula College that made it all possible.
Certified Nursing Assistant. Occupational Endorsement Certificate, Petroleum Production. Mickey E. Dyke. Petroleum Technology Certificate. Jordan C. Kernan. Certificate Welding Technology. State of Alaska and National Welding Certifications.
The Kachemak Bay Campus valedictorian is the graduate with the highest academic rank of the class. This year's KBC valedictorian is graduating magna cum laude with an Associate of Arts degree and hopes of pursuing a career in social justice. Kachemak Bay Campus is proud to introduce our 2021 valedictorian, Zoe Kramer.
Happy virtual greetings to the graduating class of 2021. We did it. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud of the staff and professors at the college who have just really put their all into this crazy transition and have been just wonderful, supportive people through all of this crazy mess. And it's really made a huge difference. And, you know, I would hate to not stress that it's been so hard for all of us to, you know, wake up every day and try to make a schedule from home, or, you know, staring at screens all the time and just not having a lot of energy. It's really difficult to not have that consistency in that schedule. And so those who really struggled with it but still pulled through, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of me. I really struggled with this last semester with all online classes and having non-synchronous classes. It's been super difficult, and you know, there were times that I just had zero passion for what I was learning about, which is heartbreaking, because the biggest reason that I am here making this speech is because I purposefully took classes that I knew I was passionate about, that I knew I was interested in, that I wanted to explore deeper. And I am just so thankful that I was able to have that opportunity when I was young. When I was 17, I was able to use the Jumpstart program to start exploring psychology and art and yoga and music, and it really opened my world, because before I started really exploring self-teaching in college, I was just kind of really unmotivated to learn. I got really bad grades the first 2 years of high school because I just felt like I had no control over what I was learning, over my own life, and I just felt like, what's the point? If I'm not enjoying what I'm learning, why learn it? And the college just really transformed my way of thinking about learning, and I definitely would not be here graduating or being valedictorian if not for Jumpstart, and especially not for Kachemak Bay campus. I mean, the staff and professors at KBC are the most kindest, compassionate, brilliant people I've ever come in contact with. I traveled, I took a gap year, and seriously nothing I have come in contact with comes even close to the Kachemak Bay campus. The teachers are noticeably passionate about what they teach. They're such amazing teachers. They're just incredible people as well, and I definitely have a lot to thank to them, because without them I probably wouldn't have been as excited and inspired as I was and still am today. And so from me and Jelly Bean, we'd like to say thank you and congratulations to all of those who had, all of us really, who've had just such big life changes and who have become even more resilient and stronger than ever through this, and I think only good can come. I'll leave you with the message: please support your local small colleges. They're truly amazing and the backbone of our communities. They contribute so much, just like not just a safe and accessible learning space, but also the resources and the opportunities that they have are just life-changing for people like me, who I was born in Homer, so I didn't have, huge goals for myself really until I started attending the college and realizing all the possibilities and becoming so passionate about what I was learning. So I really have the Kachemak Bay campus to thank, as well as my family, especially my grandma, who I've lived with for the past 2 years, who has really been my rock and a huge, amazing, bright light in my life, a great role model my whole life. So thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Congratulations, I'm so proud of you. Go out and soak up some sunshine, go do some fun activities that make you smile and make your heart feel full, because that's what's got me through this, and yeah.
Associate of Arts, General Program. Sarah L. Bactuit, cum laude. Colby J. Bayless. Amber M. Bridgman. Andrea M. Bryant. Zoe B. Kramer, magna cum laude, also valedictorian, Kachemak Bay campus. Casey Lee Earl, cum laude. Michelle L. Hartley, cum laude. Darnell Marie Hidalgo. Jason M. Hunter, magna cum laude. Tyriana May Jarrett. Lillian D. Johnson. Shiloh H. Joyce, cum laude. Cody R. Crone, cum laude. Carlene A. Liu. Mariah K. McDonald, cum laude. Daniel J. McIntosh, cum laude. Hugh J. Nelson, cum laude. Amaris Peterson. Jada Sturman, cum laude. Jack D. Swanson. Drew E. Wimmerstead, cum laude.
I'm Bruce Schultz, Interim Chancellor of UAA, and I'm honored to congratulate all of you, our KPC graduates, and also your family, friends, and loved ones who played an important role in your success. Great work. Today we celebrate your accomplishments. You've earned your degree or certificate, and you've done it during an especially challenging year. In addition to all the responsibilities you juggled related to your coursework, your job or jobs, and your families, you also dealt with the added stress of a global pandemic. For your commitment and perseverance, I commend you. Even in the face of enormous difficulty, you believed in yourself and you put in the long hours and late nights, and you did what it took to finish. Now, as you enter the next phase of your life, I believe you are prepared to accept the opportunities and confront the challenges that the future holds. You are leaving KPC with greater expertise and new qualifications, perhaps as a nursing assistant or paramedic, as a welder or a process operator, as a scientist, an artist, an educator, or an entrepreneur. Now, no matter what path you are on, you are moving forward equipped with new skills and new knowledge. And this is going to prove invaluable for your own career, I am sure. But it is also going to prove invaluable for your community and for your state. You are in a better position than ever before to make a positive impact, to ensure that Alaska continues to be an amazing place to live and work, to ensure that all of our communities are safe, prosperous, healthy, and happy. So once again, congratulations, graduates. And thank you in advance for the good work you will do for the peninsula and for all of Alaska.
Associate of Applied Science, General Business. Emily D. Arnold. Emily G. Grimes, cum laude. Caitlin L. Kimes, magna cum laude. Christine J. Uribe Coivisto. Kaylee M. Veldstra, cum laude. Associate of Applied Science, Process Technology. Riley C. Atwood. Edward W. Buffington. Christian D. A. Carr. Kelly D. Crane. Jake R. Eubank. Tyler J. Garnett, magna cum laude. William R. Gordon, magna cum laude. Colby H. Kincaid. James M. Latham III, magna cum laude. Patrick R. Michaels, cum laude. Michael Munro. Brianna C. Norris. Travis M. Perkovich, cum laude. Randy E. Presley, cum laude. Paul D. Werner. Kevin J. Wold, magna cum laude.
I'm very pleased to introduce KPC's commencement speaker. As you all know, Dr. Ann Zink is Alaska's Chief Medical Officer. You've seen her on TV, heard her on the radio, and read about her in the newspapers as she guides our state during this pandemic. She is also an emergency room doctor and director at the Mat-Su Regional Hospital in Palmer. Dr. Zink graduated from Bryn Mawr College with a BA and received her MD at the Stanford University School of Medicine. She did a residency at the University of Utah Emergency Medicine Residency Program. While she grew up in the Denver area, during college, Dr. Zink spent summers in Alaska as an instructor for the National Outdoor Leadership School. After her residency, she and her husband moved to Palmer. I want to let you know that Dr. Zink's office is a yurt next to her home that has computers, a wood stove, a bed, and a couch. This is where she appears with Governor Dunleavy in webcam teleconferences. Thank you so much for speaking to our graduates, Dr. Zink.
Hi, it's Dr. Ann Zink. I am so honored to be here for your graduation. What a day and what a year it has been, and for so many ways for so many of you. So it's really great to be here. I wish that I could be there in the Kenai with you all, celebrating and thinking about your graduation and next steps moving forward. But as one of my things that I always tell my kids is that we can do hard things. You've done a lot of hard things this year, and that we can figure our way out through this and moving forward. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about my story and journey and a few things that I have learned. And I'm really hoping that throughout the time and years, I get to hear from all of you all about your journey and your story, about what this has been like. Everyone's journey and story has been so different. But I think that there's a couple commonalities that really tie us together. Just kind of like 4 personal mottos that I've always lived by. And I thought I would just kind of talk about those and those experiences for things that I've learned throughout the years as you guys all go out on your great adventures, thinking about the world moving forward. So first one was just what I mentioned, and it's that you can do hard things. It's something that we've always been telling my kids since they were little, be it learning how to tie their shoes or being able to go on a great adventure. But I think so many times we can be intimidated by the start of the process itself, and just remembering about all of the hard things that you have accomplished and overcome to this date, and reminding yourself that you've got that strength and courage being able to move forward. Something else that we talk about with the kids all the time is that there's 2 things that I ask of them, and that is to be courageous and to be kind. I really took that from my predecessor who had my job before me, Dr. Jay Butler. People often said that he was kind to the people, but hard on the issues. And the more I do this job, the more I experience life, the more I think that those are really just the 2 traits that we need in life. It's hard to hate up close. And so being kind to those that you are around, yet being courageous to challenge the status quo and to being able to see what else is out there, try new things. You never know if you don't go through that door in that experience itself. The next thing that I just wanted to mention is something that I learned from a professor many, many years ago. I was in residency and a patient had come into the emergency department, super sick. They were 18, they'd actually gotten stabbed in the chest. And they had lost their pulses. Their heart wasn't beating anymore. They weren't breathing and essentially were dead. And if someone comes in that situation in a very short time window, you have a very short time window to act. And we he came into the department. He was the person to be able to do this procedure on. And we went ahead and did a procedure where you basically open up the chest wall, open up around the heart, and remove the blood that was surrounding his heart, and found a hole where he'd been stabbed. Put our finger in that hole and then turned on the blood. And when we turned on the blood, his heart started to beat again. And essentially, he came back to life. He was ultimately discharged from the hospital a week later, fully neuro intact, so able to think, do well, completely physically well. It was a reminder to me on just the need to sometimes just act and being able to move fast. But the biggest thing that I took away from that lesson was afterward, there was so much criticism and why didn't you do this first? Or why didn't you do that? Or how about this? And there was just, it was an intense case for many different reasons. But an attending of mine came up to me and said, you know what, Anne, you always have to do what's right for the patient and remember that the rest is noise. And that was the single most important piece of advice that I ever received in my residency. There's a lot of noise in this world. There's a lot of noise on social media. There's noise from our friends. There's noise from our parents, our kids. There's a lot of noise. And I think really spending some quality time with yourself and thinking about what is my mission here as a student, as a spouse, as a parent, in my case, as a healthcare provider, and now as the chief medical officer, what is my really role here? And at the end of the day, in my role as the chief medical officer, it's the health and well-being of Alaskans. And that is who my patients are. And that's not just like the COVID-free health, that's the mental health, the social health, the physical health. Sometimes I joke that mental and physical health are only separated by how we pay for healthcare, but now how we deliver healthcare. And so you have this one body and taking good care of it moving forward, thinking about making sure you always have time for yourself, but always knowing whatever you're doing, what your motto is, what your driving goal is, what's your underlying mission. And for me, it's doing what's right for the patient and remembering that the rest is noise. And so I'd really encourage you all to think about that. Think about what your kind of personal motto is and in your job or in your workplace. And even if it's, you're taking a summer job working fast food, like what is your goal that you can accomplish out of that? Life goes by fast. So thinking about how you can really find that motto and then staying true to it helps to really settle out the noise in everything we do. And then the last thing that I think about all the time, and my friends tease me about this one, but that's okay, is showing up for the climb. I learned this one actually from my husband. We were in residency and he was a big rock climber. We both did a bunch of rock climbing at that time. And we went to go climb Mount Whitney and we were looking at the face of Mount Whitney. And I had not done a lot of big wall climbs at that time. And I remember looking up at this piece of just huge granite rock and it just echoed above us, amazingly tall and impossibly tall, impossible to climb. And I remember looking at that rock and thinking, there's no way I can't climb that. Like I can't get up that climb. And my husband was like, you know what? We just got to show up for the climb. We just got to show up. We'll get to the base and then we make a decision. Like, do we start it? Do we not start it? But we got to show up. You can't make that decision from the warmth of your tent or the coziness of your sleeping bag. It always seems too great from that spot. You got to get up and just show up for the climb and see what happens. And so we showed up and we started to climb and literally it was one foot in front of the other. And then it was one pitch after another until after a full day of climbing, we were at the top of this gigantic highest peak in California. And it was just spectacular being up there. And when I remember getting up there, I remember it reminded me of a child's story that I remember reading as a child about this monster that traumatized a community. And the monster stood over the community. And one day a kid decided to go up and to go ahead and slay the monster so it wouldn't terrorize them anymore. And what he found is that every step he took up the mountain, the monster got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until he got to the very top of the mountain. And the monster was a little teeny tiny monster. And it was just his shadow that was looming over the village. And I think about how many things in our life we allow to be these gigantic shadows of a monster. But when we really approach the issue itself, it's not that big and it's not that hard. And I really learned that from my husband about showing up for the climb and just seeing what happens. I think it's easy to second guess and being, maybe I don't have the training. Maybe I don't have the skills. Maybe I'm not ready. But sometimes you just got to show up for the climb, be honest and humble about your experiences and your strengths and your weaknesses and put one foot in front of the other. It reminds me of another book that I recently read called The Year of Saying Yes by Shonda Rhimes. And she talks about not being dreamers, but being doers, about being able to step one foot in front of the other. And you can sometimes be so much more than you ever dreamed just by showing up and doing, and the amount of work that can happen and the untold stories and journeys that you can be able to go on as you take one step in front of the other and go on a journey by doing rather than just a journey of dreaming. So as you embark on this new crazy adventure after graduation, the path is going to be less sure. It's going to be less set. When we're in school, it's kind of one thing after another. But now you are entering into the great world of many, many possibilities and many unknowns. And so I really congratulate all of you to getting to this point. And remember just my own graduation, what an incredible sense of excitement that there was at that moment. And encourage you all to think about, what is that? Who are you at the heart of all that? What is the noise in your world that you want to let go of? And how are you going to show up for the climb? You showed up to be here today. You showed up for your education. You showed up to the commitment to yourself. And I can't wait to see what you're going to do moving forward. So thank you. Congratulations and best of luck.
Associate of Applied Science, Process Technology, Certificate, Petroleum Technology. Talon E. Musgrave, cum laude. Donovan M. Smith, magna cum laude. Leighton A. Van Leer, magna cum laude. Associate of Applied Science, Industrial Process Instrumentation, Process Technology, Certificate, Petroleum Technology. Michelle M. Wicker, magna cum laude, also valedictorian, Kenai River Campus. Associate of Applied Science, Industrial Process Instrumentation. Associate of Applied Science, Paramedical Technology, Jesse J. Ross, cum laude. Rebecca L. Stigall. Elena R. Swenson. Associate of Applied Science, Nursing. Michael J. Burleson. Danielle Calhoun. Shirley O. Carroll, cum laude. Timothy A. Cole, Jr., cum laude. Crystal L. Combs, cum laude. Olivia A. Delgado, cum laude. Nicole D. McKinney, cum laude. Elizabeth Morgan, magna cum laude. Taylor Ranget. Krista R. Strife. Hannah R. Woldbooth, cum laude. Baccalaureate and post-baccalaureate degrees. Kyra L. Bodner, Bachelor of Liberal Arts, Interdisciplinary Studies, cum laude. Delcinia C. Cosman, Bachelor of Liberal Arts, Interdisciplinary Studies, magna cum laude. Quincy D. Fuller, Bachelor of Science, Psychology, cum laude. Aaron A. Herrick, Bachelor of Arts, Elementary Education, cum laude. Heather K. Resch, Bachelor of Arts, Psychology. Amber L. Sweetland, Master of Public Administration.
Kenai Peninsula College's valedictorian at the Kenai River campus is the graduate with the highest academic achievement. This year's valedictorian is graduating summa cum laude with an Associate of Applied Science in Process Technology and Industrial Process Instrumentation. She is also graduating with a Certificate in Petroleum Technology. KRC would like to congratulate Michelle Wicker as this year's valedictorian.
Hello everyone. In 6th grade, I got a B in speech. And here I am today, asked to provide a few words of encouragement for the class of 2021, and I still hate giving speeches. Public speaking is not my forte, and I'll admit I wasn't sure what to say to all of you. So I decided to ask my family what they thought I should talk about. This may have been a mistake, since I am the proud daughter of a United States Marine who married a non-confrontational Midwestern girl from Ohio and produced 3 sarcastic children with an affinity for self-deprecating humor. Nevertheless, advice from my family. When I told him I was selected as valedictorian, my dad told me to say, "Thank you for the honor. I'd like a job now." I laughed and told him that was rude, but it reminded me of something important, and that is this: ask for what you want. Be bold, for in the words of Goethe, boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. You will be surprised how many doors open for you if you are simply bold enough to ask. My mom told me to talk about setting goals and what I truly believe in. And the truth is this: I believe in many things. I could share numerous inspirational quotes with you on this momentous day, but the best piece of advice I have for you is this: be afraid, but do it anyway. Life doesn't always go as planned. And as someone entering a new career field after all of my original plans fell through, I promise you there will be many moments of fear and uncertainty in your life. But there is nothing quite like that feeling of satisfaction when you've taken a risk and succeeded. Today we celebrate that success and all of the hard work it took to get here. Be proud of yourself and your accomplishments. My sister said, "School's over, get to work." And that reminds me of this quote from Cheryl Strayed: "Nobody's going to do your life for you. You have to do it yourself. Whether you're rich or poor, out of money or raking it in, the beneficiary of ridiculous fortune or terrible injustice. And you have to do it no matter what is true, no matter what is hard, no matter what unjust, sad, sucky things befall you. Self-pity is a dead-end road." As a breast cancer survivor, I can assure you that nothing in this life is guaranteed. Don't wait for your life to begin. Make it happen now. On a separate note, I know that my sister would actually quote Cinderella if she was asked to give a speech. Her motto is "Have courage and be kind." I am honored to receive the title of valedictorian, but I would not be where I am today without the love and support of several people in my life. First and foremost, my family. My mom and dad, my brother and sister and their families, my husband, and my children. Thank you, and I love you. I would also like to extend my gratitude to the instructors who patiently helped me learn all the new skills I leave here with today. In no particular order, Steve Roman, Rich Coaches, Alan Houts, Henry Haney, and Steve Van Zandt. Thank you. My success is also yours. I'd like to wrap this up with a quote from Navy Admiral William H. McRaven in his commencement address to the University of Texas class of 2014. For some reason, I found this saved in my phone, and it seems particularly poignant to me today because he delivered this speech 7 years ago, a few short weeks before I was diagnosed with cancer. Know that life is not fair and that you will fail often. But if you take some risks, step up when the times are the toughest, face down the bullies, lift up the downtrodden, and never ever give up. If you do these things, the next generation and the generations that follow will live in a world far better than the one we have here today. And what started here will indeed have changed the world for the better. Congratulations, class of 2021. I wish you the best, and I hope you do great things, live long, and prosper.
Congratulations on all your hard work to get to this day to receive your degrees and certifications. For all of you at the Kenai Peninsula campus, I just want to tell you how proud all of the regents are of your accomplishments. Your work towards your community is so important, and the integral part of the community providing higher education opportunities for the Kenai Peninsula depend on you and your skills that you've learned there. So to all of you in Kenai and the surrounding areas, we are very proud of you and congratulations. So I'd like to ask for the graduates to please stand. And by virtue of the authority vested in me as chair of the Board of Regents under the Constitution of the State of Alaska and upon the recommendation of the chancellors and faculty of the University of Alaska, I confer upon you the degrees to which you are entitled, and all the rights, privileges, honors, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Graduates, please change your tassel from the right side to the left side of your caps. You may be seated. Congratulations.
Commencement is also the occasion upon which we confer the title of Emeritus on exemplary members of the retiring faculty and staff. The status of Emeritus is conferred upon a full-time faculty or staff member who has served a minimum of 10 years to the University of Alaska. A faculty or staff member nominated for Emeritus rank is evaluated by his or her dean, director, or supervisor, a campus-wide promotion committee of peers and the provost, and is then finally recommended to the chancellor. On behalf of the entire UAA community, it is our privilege to confer this coveted honor upon Gary Turner, Director Emeritus, Kenai Peninsula College. For more than 18 years, Gary Turner has been at the helm of Kenai Peninsula College, successfully advocating for and overseeing a multi-million-dollar campus expansion, serving as a Master of Distance Learning and Vocational Program Development, and as a mentor to new college directors across the University of Alaska system. Turner's dedication to program development has been instrumental in the advancement of successful health careers for hundreds of young people on the peninsula, providing a steady workforce which in turn has given the local community a health system that is the envy of other communities of the same size. Turner has been a guiding light when advising colleagues on university processes and creating practical and sustainable solutions to challenging issues. Turner's colleagues will tell you that he has truly devoted an inordinate share of his life toward building our community into something stronger than it was when he arrived. It is therefore the University of Alaska Anchorage's privilege to name Gary Turner Director Emeritus. And UAA proudly awards Gary Turner the Meritorious Service Award.
Kenai Peninsula College Choice Awards.
The Kachemak Bay Campus Director's Choice Award celebrates the student who manages to shine academically and take an active role in their campus and community. This year's award goes to a very well-rounded and impressive individual who also happens to be this year's valedictorian. She has been described as a ray of sunshine on campus and has served as an officer in the Kachemak Bay Student Association. In the community of Homer, she's worked locally on the Kenai Peninsula Votes campaign and the Homer Drawdown Project. An excellent leader, she'll be one to watch as she continues to make a difference in our community and beyond. I'm proud to announce the 2021 Kachemak Bay Campus Director's Choice Award to Zoe Kramer.
Kachemak Bay Faculty Choice Award. Drew Wimmerstedt. The KBC Faculty Choice Award celebrates a special student who is both academically impressive and contributes positively to the classroom environment. Drew was credited by the faculty to be an all-around respectful, intentional, hard worker, good student, and a fantastic addition to the classroom. Kachemak Bay Staff Choice Award. Darnell Hidalgo. The KBC Staff Choice Award celebrates those memorable students who make KBC a wonderful learning environment with their positive attitude and commitment to the campus community. This year, staff would like to add tenacity, perseverance, humor, and grace to the list of student attributes. Wherever the next path leads, we know Darnell will apply her drive to succeed, work ethic, and knowledge to navigate the journey. Kenai River Campus Faculty Choice Award, Business and Industry. Rebecca exemplifies excellence in academics, leadership, commitment, personal integrity, and community service. While earning her AAS in paramedical technology, she is also working toward her BS degree from the UAF School of Management. She has served as president of Phi Theta Kappa, vice president of her paramedic class, managed the KPC Student Paramedic Association Club funds, and logged over 1,500 hours of community service on the peninsula. She has maintained a high level of academic performance in all aspects of her work. KRC is truly fortunate to have Rebecca Stigall as one of our shining stars. Kenai River Campus Faculty Choice Award, Arts and Sciences, Michelle Hartley. Michelle is a stellar student who has not only stayed true to her devised path, but has maintained a 4.0 the entire time. This soon-to-be elementary education bachelor's student through the 2+2 pathway from UAA KPC to UAS is passionate about learning and teaching. She is creative, determined, full of life, and ready to share her talents with the students who will be so lucky to call her their teacher. Kenai River Campus Staff Choice Award, Daniel McIntosh. Daniel has overcome many obstacles while pursuing his AA degree. He is quick with a question and even quicker with a smile. Daniel works incredibly hard to ensure he understands complicated policies and procedures and is a joy to everyone who takes the time to get to know him. Most Outstanding Staff, Ginger Rose. Most Outstanding Adjunct Faculty, Lynn Dusek. Most Outstanding Faculty, Rich Kochis. Lifelong Learner Award, Teresa Yerke. Most Inspirational Student, Crystal George.
My name is Cheryl Seamers, and I am the Assistant Director for Academic Affairs for Kenai Peninsula College.
My name is Reed Brewer, and I'm the Director of the Kachemak Bay campus of Kenai Peninsula College. We are thrilled to share this special day with you. We know that for each of you, this is a huge milestone, whether you're completing an occupational endorsement certificate, an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, or higher.
Today marks the end of one journey and the beginning of another. Graduation has always been a time of looking back and looking forward.
Looking back, you've survived and thrived through a global pandemic that likely changed every aspect of your life.
Looking forward, you can get that job, that raise, or that project. Looking back, you have conquered every academic requirement for your degree program.
Looking forward, now that you have your degree, your future aspirations are high. Looking back, you're here today because you did not give up.
Looking forward, you and only you are the master of your destiny. Regardless of how you got here, you got here. The Kenai Peninsula College faculty and staff know the challenges you have faced in the last year and have worked diligently to make the best of a very difficult situation.
We celebrate you and your many accomplishments. Today, we represent all the KPC faculty and staff in saying congratulations, you did it.
We are all very proud of you and wish for you the very best.
For some of you watching the celebration today, your studies with us at KPC are just the beginning, and this is just the first step in your journey.
For others of you, please don't be a stranger. You are now part of our college family, and we invite you to visit and would love to celebrate in your future successes as well.